What's going on, Bengals fans? This one hurts. The Cincinnati Bengals just dropped Week 5 to the Detroit Lions, 37-24, and honestly, that score doesn't tell the full story. The game was out of reach almost from the start. Most of those late points were garbage time stats, nothing more. Detroit's Jared Goff looked sharp, mistake-free, and in total control. Meanwhile, Jake Browning had a nightmare outing. 3 interceptions, and even a safety, nearly 2. It was another rough showing for Cincinnati, the third straight week of frustration. Before we dive into more Bengals news, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button, and turn on the bell icon so you never miss updates on everything happening in Houday Nation. Now, back to it, and let's be real. Zac Taylor's seat has to be burning hot right now. The calls for change are loud, and for good reason. When a game's already slipping away by halftime, and the team looks this unprepared, that's on coaching. The Bengals have too much talent to keep playing like this. You know what's wild? The Bengals actually showed some fight late in this one, 21 points in the final quarter. But here's the thing that really sticks out, and not in a good way, Zac Taylor's decision-making. With a late touchdown, Cincinnati had a real chance to make things interesting. Go for 2, and you're down 10, still within striking distance. Instead, Taylor plays it safe, kicks the extra point, and suddenly it's an 11-point hole. 2 touchdowns needed. Game over. That's not strategy, that's surrender. When you've got time on the clock, timeouts in your pocket, and even a small window to fight back, you take the shot. Every second counts in the NFL. But once again, Taylor's conservative mindset cost the Bengals even the slightest shot at a comeback. Moments like that show exactly why this team feels stuck. The players kept grinding, but the leadership didn't match the urgency. And that's the problem, not the talent, not the effort, but the decisions that keep pulling this team backward instead of letting it rise. Let's be honest, Zac Taylor is not getting it done. The numbers say it all. With Joe Burrow under center, Taylor's record hovers around the mid-50s in winning percentage. Without Burrow, it falls off a cliff, barely a quarter of the games won. That's not just bad luck. That's a sign of a coach who can't adapt. The offense looks predictable week after week. No new wrinkles, no creativity, no spark. The one-trick play we did see, that flea flicker, ended in a sack and a fumble. That sums it up. This offense feels stale, uninspired, and easy to read. At some point, you have to stop blaming injuries or execution and start looking at leadership. The Bengals have too many weapons to look this flat, and it starts with the man calling the plays. The frustration from fans isn't just emotion, it's evidence. The team deserves better, and it's becoming clearer every week that the current approach isn't working. Let's talk about Jake Browning, because at this point, it's hard to find anything positive to say. His play has been rough, plain and simple. Watching him today, it felt like every throw beyond 5 yards came with a prayer attached. Yes, he connected with Ja'Marr Chase late in the game, but even that had fans holding their breath, wondering if he'd missed the mark. That's the current confidence level in the Bengals quarterback situation. Shaky, uncertain, and painful to watch. What's worse is the lack of adjustment from the sideline. Browning was clearly off his game, and yet no move was made. Sure, maybe the backup isn't much of an upgrade, but sometimes you just need a spark, a sign that the staff is willing to try something to change momentum. Instead, it felt like surrender. Right now, this offense has no rhythm, no tempo, and no plan that fits its quarterback. Whether it's a Browning issue, a play-calling issue, or both, one thing's clear: the Bengals look lost without direction from the top. The Bengals can't wait any longer. Something has to change at quarterback. Whether it's a trade, a free agent signing, or a bold move from the front office, it's clear that Jake Browning isn't the answer. If Cincinnati keeps trending in this direction, the playoff dream will vanish before winter even hits. By the time Joe Burrow is healthy, it might not even matter. There won't be a season left to save. And it's not just about wins and losses. It's about momentum, belief, and accountability. The team needs a jolt of energy, someone who can step in and at least steady the ship until Burrow returns. Because if things keep spiraling like this, there won't be a reason to risk bringing him back at all. The next few weeks are critical. Green Bay is up next, and the schedule doesn't get easier from there. The Bengals have to act now, or they'll be watching the playoffs from home again. Here's the tough truth. It might be time to hit the reset button. When a team looks this disconnected on both sides of the ball, sometimes the best move is to stop pretending a turnaround is coming and start building for the future. The offensive line is struggling, the running game has no bite, and the passing attack can't stretch the field. The defense fought hard, but it's hard to hold when you're constantly stuck out there because the offense can't sustain drives. The Lions only ran for 118 yards, but Jared Goff still carved the secondary for 4 touchdowns, proof that effort alone isn't enough. The problems run deep, from ownership to coaching. Zach Taylor's system feels stale, and even if the Bengals land a high draft pick, there's no guarantee the current staff would make the most of it. That's what makes this crossroads so critical. Maybe it's time to start thinking long-term. Fresh leadership, a new direction, and a mindset that builds around Joe Burrow's return rather than wasting more seasons hoping something suddenly clicks. Because right now, this version of the Bengals isn't close to the contender it should be. It's hard not to feel frustrated right now. 3 straight weeks of sloppy, uninspired football have fans questioning everything: effort, leadership, and even the direction of the season. The Bengals just don't look like the team they're supposed to be, and that sting runs deep across the fanbase. Still, not everything was a disaster. Ja'Marr Chase reminded everyone why he's one of the most electric players in the league. That toe-tap touchdown in the corner? Pure skill. The route, the separation, the control, vintage Chase. 6 catches, 110 yards, 2 scores. Even in chaos, he shines. If there's one thing to hold on to, it's that spark. Because when the Bengals figure out how to build consistency around players like Chase, they'll start looking like contenders again. And while we're talking offense, Samaje Perine deserves more touches. Every time he gets the ball, he makes something happen. 4 carries for 27 yards. That's nearly 7 yards per run. Meanwhile, the main rotation continues to stall out. At this point, it's simple. Perine has earned the right to be the primary back. Give him the workload and see if it jumpstarts something this stagnant offense desperately needs: rhythm and identity. The Bengals have the pieces. What they don't have is balance, and that's what separates a contender from a team just trying to survive Sundays. Samaje Perine keeps proving his worth, matching Chase Brown's yardage on half the carries. That's efficiency. And yet, the coaching staff keeps running the same script, expecting a different result. It's the definition of insanity. Yes, the offensive line has been brutal. No push in the run game, no protection in pass sets, but that doesn't excuse stubborn play calling. Perine is averaging over 5 yards per carry this season. That's production you can build around, not ignore. At this point, though, it's bigger than one player or one position group. The Bengals are broken in too many areas to patch up midseason. They're not a team that makes bold trades, and it's hard to imagine ownership firing Zach Taylor before his contract is up. Realistically, they might write this season off, point to Joe Burrow's injury, take the losses, and move on. But even with Burrow healthy, the issues run deeper. Taylor's winning percentage barely stays above 50% with him, and without Burrow, the Bengals are nearly unrecognizable. That's not a coincidence. 3 straight weeks of lifeless football have left fans angry and exhausted. The schedule ahead doesn't get easier. Green Bay looms next, and unless something changes fast, it could be another long Sunday. The question now isn't just about effort. It's about direction. Because the way things look right now, This Bengals team isn't playing like it knows where it's headed.